welcome back to
Podcast
Almost
Every Day. Today, my grandma will be talking about some awesome facts about the sun, and I'll be talking about dinosaurs. Grandma, would you like to get us started today?
Yes, here are some interesting facts about the sun's age, size, and history. Did you know the sun lies at the heart of the solar system, where it is by far the largest object? It holds 99.8% of the solar system's mass and is roughly 109 times the diameter of the Earth. About 1 million Earths could fit inside the sun.
Dinosaurs are a group of reptiles that have lived on Earth for about 245 million years.
The visible part of the sun is about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, while temperatures in the core reach more than 27 million degrees Fahrenheit.
In 1842, the English naturalist Sir Richard Owen coined the term dinosauria, derived from the Greek dinosaurs, meaning furly great, also known as great, and saurus, meaning lizard.
You would need to explode 100 billion tons of dynamite every second to match the energy produced by the sun. The sun is one of more than 100 billion stars in the Milky Way.
Dinosaurs' fossils have been found on all 7 continents.
The sun orbits some 25,000 light years from the galactic core, completing a revolution once every 250 million years.
All non-avian dinosaurs went extinct about 66 million years ago.
The sun was born about 4.6 billion years ago. Many scientists think the sun and the rest of the solar system formed from a giant rotating cloud of gas and dust known as the solar nebula.
There are roughly 700 known species of extinct dinosaurs.
As the nebula collapsed because of its gravity, it spun faster and flattened into a disk. Most of the material was pulled together toward the center to form the sun.
Modern birds are a kind of dinosaur because they share a common ancestor with a non-avian dinosaur.
The sun has enough nuclear fuel to stay much as it is now for another 5 billion years. After that, it would swell and become a red giant.
I think I know how to pronounce this one. Palinodologist, I think that's how it's pronounced, are like detectives who examine the evidence to the extinct animals left behind. Those clues to what dinosaurs were like are found in fossils, the ancient remains of organisms such as teeth, bone, or shells, or evidence of animal activity such as footprints and trackways.
According to observation on November 17, 2010, a huge solar filament snakes around the southwestern horizon of the sun in this full disk.
Everything we know about non-avian dinosaurs is based on fossils, which include bones, teeth, footprints, tracks, eggs, and skin impressions. For countries, peoples throughout the world have discovered amazing fossil bones and footprints. Early finds inspired legends and fairy tales as people imagined these bones belonged to giant or huge monsters.
The sun and its atmosphere are divided into several zones and layers. The solar interior from the inside out is made up of the core, the radiative zone, and the convective zone.
Some consider Bernard Brown, who began his career at the American Museum of Natural History in 1897, to be one of the greatest dinosaur hunters of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. He began the career in American Museum of Natural History in 1897. Many of the greatest discoveries include the first specimens of the Tyrannosaurus rex ever found are on display in the museum's dinosaur halls.
The core extends from the sun's center to about a quarter of the way to its surface. Although it only makes up roughly 2% of the sun's volume, it is almost 15 times the density of lead and holds nearly half the sun's mass.
And here's a question. What are dinosaurs known for? Dinosaurs are a group of reptiles that dominate the land for over 140 million years, more than 160 million years in some parts of the world.
The radiative zone, which extends from the core to 70% of the way to the sun's surface, making up 32% of the sun's volume and 48% of its mass.
What was the first dinosaur on Earth? It was the Naturus parinaentii.
The convection zone, which reaches up to the sun's surface and makes up to 66% of the sun's volume, but only a little more than 2% of the mass. The rolling convection cells of gas dominate this zone.
Who created the dinosaur? Sir Richard Owen.
The photosphere is the lowest layer of the sun's atmosphere, and it emits the light we see. It is about 300 miles thick, although most of the light comes from the lowest third.
Did any of the dinosaurs survive? Birds. Birds are the only dinosaurs to survive the mass of the extinction event 65 million years ago.
After that comes the chromosphere, which is hotter, up to 35,500 degrees Fahrenheit, and is apparently made up entirely of spiky structures known as spiculars, typically some 600 miles across and 6,000 miles high.
What would happen if the dinosaurs never actually went extinct? If dinosaurs didn't go extinct, mammals would have remained in the shadows.
After that is the transition region, a few hundred to a few thousand miles thick, which is heated up by the corona above it, and it sheds most of its light as ultraviolet rays. At the top of the super hot corona, which is made up of structures such as loops and streams of ionized gas. The corona generally ranges from 900,000 degrees Fahrenheit to 10.8 million degrees Fahrenheit, and can even reach tens of millions of degrees when a solar flare occurs. The magnetic field. The strength of the sun's magnetic field is typically only about twice as strong as the Earth's field. However, it becomes highly concentrated in small areas, reaching up to 3,000 times stronger than usual.
And now we're going to try to show you guys what a dinosaur would have sounded like. And now back to some facts about the sun.
We're getting back to this. The kinks and the twist in the magnetic field develop because the sun spins more rapidly at the equator than at the higher altitudes, and because the inner parts of the sun rotate more quickly than the surface. These distortions create features ranging from sunspots to spectacular eruptions known as flares and corona mass ejections. Flares are the most violent eruptions in the solar system, while the corona mass ejections are less violent but involve extraordinary amounts of matter. A single ejection can spout roughly 20 billion tons of matter into the space. Also, we're going to discuss the chemical composition. Just like most other stars, the sun is made up mostly of hydrogen followed by helium. Nearly all the remaining matters consist of 7 elements: oxygen, carbon, neon, nitrogen, magnesium, iron, and silicon. For every 1 million atoms of hydrogen in the sun, there are 98,000 of helium, 850 of oxygen, 360 of carbon, 120 of neon, 110 of nitrogen, 40 of magnesium, and 35 of iron, and 35 of silicon. Still, hydrogen is the lightest of all elements, so it only accounts for roughly 72% of the sun's mass, while helium makes up about 26%. Sunspots and solar cycles. Sunspots are relatively cool, dark features on the sun's surface that are often roughly circular. They emerge where dense bundles of magnetic field lines from the sun's interior break through the surface. The number of sunspots varies as the solar and magnetic activity does. The change in this number from a minimum of none to a maximum of roughly 250 sunspots or clusters of sunspots, and then back to the minimum, is known as the solar cycle and averages about every 11 years. At the end of the cycle, the magnetic field rapidly reverses its polarity. Ancient cultures often modified natural rock formations or built stone monuments to mark the motions of the sun and the moon, charting the seasons, creating calendars, and monitoring eclipses. Many believe the sun revolved around the earth, with ancient Greek scholars formulating and describing the heliocentric sun center model of the solar system. And in 1610, Galileo discovery of Jupiter's moon revealed that it's not all heavenly bodies circled by the earth. To learn more about the sun and other stars after observation using rockets, scientists began studying the sun from the earth orbit.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our
Candy of the day.
drum roll, please. Today we have Swedish fish. So, Grandma, what exactly is a Swedish fish?
Swedish fish are soft, chewy candies.
And how many calories are there in this Swedish fish pack?
This package has 200 calories.
And can we have one nutritious fact?
Yes, this is a fat-free candy. It has 0 grams of fat.
And if you had to guess, what do you think a Swedish fish tastes like?
I think they're probably very similar to gummy bears.
So, if you have never had a Swedish fish, maybe you should go try some. Or if your friends or family have never had some, maybe you should go suggest it for them. But anyways, back to some facts about the sun.
NASA launched a series of 8 orbiting observatories known as the Orbiting Solar Observatory between 1962 and 1971.
And since we all know that dinosaurs are extinct, we couldn't find any real videos of the dinosaurs, but we do have a program video that is kind of realistic. So we're going to try to show some.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome our Tyrannosaurus Rex to the park.
Now we're gonna try to skip to when 2 dinosaurs come out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome the Indominus Rex to the park.
So we just kind of wanted to show you guys some videos because you guys probably have never seen dinosaurs. Well, not probably. You guys have never seen dinosaurs. Neither have we. And we'll most likely never see them in our life. So we kind of just thought that we could show you guys. So how would you describe that? What would you describe what they were doing in that video?
I think they were fighting. They were very vicious. I don't know what they were fighting over, but they probably food or something that was found on the ground.
You know, or they just the type of dinosaur they are, just don't really get along. Or I think that's just kind of what dinosaurs do. They just fight. That's just what they do, honestly. But of course, we couldn't find any real videos, so if that scared you, you can skip past this until what we're talking about now. So if any of like that scares you, we're so sorry. We're not trying to scare anyone. We just want to show you guys the experience because no one in this earth has ever gotten the experience to, be around dinosaurs. So that's pretty cool. And that is all that we have today.
This was
Podcast
almost
every day.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.